Okay, I'm live. Hi, everybody. I've been thinking a lot today about various topics, so hopefully, this live will meander in a few different directions, but kind of get back to the central theme of being in the world, not of it. This is a lesson that I think we have to come back to again and again throughout our life because it's so easy to get lost if we aren't constantly seeking, the kingdom of God, if we're not walking that narrow path or rolling on it, for those of us on wheels, I look out sometimes and I'm just amazed, amazed at how lost a lot of people are and how they do not see who they are, who others are, because they're looking in the world for identity. And it's sad. Danny P is watching and says, "Hope you're well. I'm doing all right. I had a lovely day. I had a nice weekend, actually. It was a nice time. Got some things done, spent some time with my friend Leah. We had a nice day at church. There was a little Mother's Day event. They gave us, they gave the women roses. I'm not a mother, but I got away with one anyway. It was lovely, lovely pink rose. And yeah, there was a nice just Mother's Day tea event. They served us tea with lovely little, in lovely little saucers, and they had out the nice silver for it, and they got us like a bunch of pastries. There were some really good donuts from a local place I like. So I had one of those, and then I had like one of these coconut little cookies. And I swear, by the end, I was like spinning. I was feeling all kinds of like, you know. So yeah, my friend had left her slippers at my place, so we came back to my place because she actually joined me for church, and then we came back. She got her slippers, and then she headed out, and then I had to go to the store to get my cat some food. And then ended up getting myself like lunch there. I had got a little wrap. They had this really good beef and pepper jack wrap. It had like pickled vegetables in it and lettuce, and it was good. Like, I'm glad I got it. I was like, I needed something. I didn't want anything too heavy, just because my lunch yesterday was pretty heavy. Um, I'd had that big donut and cookies and stuff, so I just wanted something kind of protein rich. So nice day, just nice, nice, nice. It was just nice, and it was sunny all weekend. It's been sunny since Thursday, so nice to go out and get some actual real vitamin D, not the artificial kind. Um, but anyway, even motherhood is an identity. We don't even think about that. It's like a worldly identity. All these labels we affix to ourselves based on the roles we play. They're not who we are. They're just things we happen to be doing. And are we what we do? No, no, we're not. And at the end of the day, an identity or a label is really only something that we're into or something that we're doing, but it doesn't really reflect who we are. And we get lost when we put too much importance on that. And it's easy to do. And there's a lot of expectation that you do that. And there's also a lot of expectation that you make your worldly identity who you are. And this is where a lot of people are lost. They make it so important. They make it the crux of who they are. They make it the core of who they are. they claim that they were born this way, and it's just there's nothing we can do. And this isn't just like, when I say born this way, I'm not just talking about the let's get this bread community. I'm talking about everybody, because this is a phenomenon that a lot of people do. A lot of people do. And it ain't right. Matthew says that being a parent is fun. Yeah, I guess at moments it could be. It looks like a lot of work and responsibility and terror, honestly. But if it can be fun too, I imagine it is. Although, when my friend and I were at church today, we watched one of the young people throwing off her shoes. She kicked off her shoes and used to work as a nanny. She was telling me about this baby that she, this toddler now, but that she had, helped raise for a while. And this, this kid was always kicking her shoes off. She could never keep her shoes on. She took them off automatically. And then I kind of remembered when I was little how much I hated wearing shoes. I hated it. Like, I didn't want to put shoes on. I always wanted to take them off. I remember taking them off all the time. And I'd have them on for a little bit and then take them off. And then my dad would get ticked off because it's like, no, you need to keep the shoes on. We're going out. We're doing this. And I'd just be like, it's not comfortable. And then we get used to wearing shoes, and then it becomes uncomfortable to be without them. Like, what the heck? Yeah, watching the little ones. There were a lot of little ones. You know what? We had a child dedication at church today too. That was lovely. Little boy got dedicated. So I'm glad to see that. He'll be a part of our church, and we'll be helping him throughout his life. My Bosco never understood that it could be seen as bad. I'm not sure what you're responding to. I would need you to just reiterate what you were responding to. Kids are awesome at trying to tease you into a reaction. It's cute. Yeah. But Matthew would never react. Never. So yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful, weekend. Lots of sun. Just enjoyable. Just enjoyed people, and a lot of the women were dressed up really nice today at church, and I had this on. I got a lot of compliments. I had my hair up, but I just took it down because I got tired of it. Right before I came on too, I was like, I don't want the hair up. I want it down. So yeah, I got some good compliments about my little outfit too. So, but again, I get really into that. It's a thing that's important to me. Looking good, being perceived well, having class, distinction, taste, elegance. Sometimes I wonder if I put that before what's real. What's important. Yeah, a lot of parents do that. I see them do that. Like they act. Matthew said, Mama Terri. Was I being mama? What was I doing? What did I say that was mama? Where's my mama spirit coming out? It's interesting, I think as women too, we don't always, especially if we're not mothers, we're not used to seeing ourselves as having maternal instincts, but they're there, whether we acknowledge them or not, or whether we get like an outlet for them and they come out in very interesting ways. So yeah, I suppose I do have that in me sometimes. It comes out with people that I care about. Like I see little, inklings of that come out, like my instincts kick in and I'm like, oh, protect, nurture. I don't know, my dad has always been good to be in a positive mood, but he smoked pot. He smoked pot. And only saw me on the weekend. That must have been hard to not have your father there all the time and to have a daddy who was a pothead. I remember my dad, he was so funny. He used to tell me that he wished I smoked pot because I don't know, I guess he thought I was too high strung or angry or something. He also complained that I didn't know how to lie very well. I remember him like being like, "You really need to learn how to lie." And I'd be like, "Dad, stop encouraging me to lie and smoke pot. Jeez. You've seen your father in you as well." Well, that's a good thing, though, isn't it? Yeah. I think that's a big fear with having kids. It's like, are we going to be like our parents? You know, are we going to impose the hell that they imposed on us, on our kids? Are we going to impose our wills on them? You know, are we going to deny them, who they are? But anyway, that's been a fear for me, as I've, when I was younger and considering, like, do I want to go down the path of being a mother? I mean, I didn't. I just didn't. I didn't pursue that path. And now, like that I'm older, I mean, I'm still fertile, so I'm still kind of like aware that it could happen. But, you know, being older and having like the insight about it, it's like, I'm glad that I made the decisions I did because I know I would have been like a wreck of a parent. Like, I just know it. I would have been happy with what I would be able to provide for my kids. It would have made me miserable. C Sal is here. Hi, C Sal. Hope you're doing well. Oh, cute picture. Look at that little picture. Your own gravity well. Oh my goodness. So yeah, being in the world. So we're here to experience this thing. We're here to go through things and do things and work through it. But we have to be of the spirit. Now we have to put that first. I've really enjoyed it at church, this past few weeks that we've been studying the book of James and doing that in Bible study as well. Like the pastor's sermons and then the Bible study is reflective of the sermons, going through the book of James and talking about it. It's been really interesting and helpful, to read the words and consider them and think about like applying it to my life. I appreciate that. I don't know. I've heard there are churches out there that are not biblically based. I was talking with someone recently who had joined our church, and he had said that he'd been around to various churches in the area, but he'd not really found that they were like preaching the word. And I'm like, how do you even, what is the purpose of having a church? And they were all up in the like LGBT, let's get this bread stuff, making sure it was as welcoming and comfortable for people who are, again, over-identified with that worldly identity. I mean, I'm just grateful that I found my church. I have been lucky, I don't even want to say it's luck because I know God pulled me in there, but I have another friend, my friend who joined me today. Like, she's had trouble finding a church. She has not been able to find a church that's right for her, and she's been going, around to different churches for years, trying to find one that's gonna suit her well. And she just hasn't found it. And I'm like, the first one I happen to get drug into is like perfect for me. It's amazing. And it's like right by me. Go figure. But I think too, like maybe it just happens when we need it to happen. I don't know. And, for many years, when I wasn't attending church, I was seeking, and I think it just happened to come to me when I was ready to like really serve too, I think. Not just to be served or be fed by, what I could give me, but what I could do and what I could contribute, and my own spiritual evolution and how I could, be impactful in that way. Anyway, I get so frustrated. I get so frustrated hearing people who identify as Christians, though, who don't think it's important to participate in a church. Everybody's walk with God is different. Everybody's relationship with God is different, but it's so important. Like it really does. It really does do something to that relationship. It really does help strengthen, anchor it, to be in that kind of fellowship and to serve in that capacity. It really just, it's so grounding. And it's also, I think, I don't know, encouraging, encouraging. The chat are being funny with each other. I'm reading it right now. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I wanted to get on this stuff about like church. I guess, the title was kind of Christian. I have been watching Jesus of Nazareth as recommended to me by Matthew, which has been pretty, awesome. It's a good one. And I love how long it is too. It's been really fun to sit and watch chunks of it at a time and get stuck on it. And something spooky happened last night. My computer, I'd like closed it. I hadn't even been watching it at all. Like I just had it, open. And then I'm like, I go into the bathroom, I'm just getting ready to like take a shower, and all of a sudden I hear it start playing. And mind you, my computer was like in sleep mode. I'd like shut the laptop, everything. So it was just like, okay, wild. So I had to open it up and like turn it off again. I was like, why did it just start playing? Ooh. But yeah, it was a little moment. It was like, ooh, is this God? I love the white Jesus too. I love white Jesus. He's so emaciated and he has these like very severe features and the like very intense blue eyes. Oh my goodness. So yeah, anyway, yeah, that didn't deter me though from having my shower. I was gonna get my shower, so I did that. It was nice. Yeah. Actually, yeah, Matthew was there. I was in the JS Urban Adventures chat, the Discord, as it were, prior to like shutting it off and going about my nighttime ritual. So yeah, it was that was an interesting one. I was thinking about Jalen because yeah, he came in and he told everybody off, and I kind of like interacting with him. I think maybe this is the third or fourth time, but I was like kind of struck, like he's really wrestling with some demons, and I kind of was, I don't know if his like participation in how he participates, it's like you can see that he's seeking like love and a community that like, accepts him fully, like radically accepts him fully. And he's struggling. I just kind of like, I hadn't really thought about it before. And because I didn't really know him at all, really, but just watching him and his mannerisms and kind of how he was going about it, I was like, oh man, yeah, he's dealing with some spiritual warfare. So I'm gonna be praying for him, and yeah, he also called me out. He didn't like a joke I'd made. It was a joke, though. I want to be clear. The joke I made was a joke. It was not how I sincerely feel about anything. Hi, Kiara. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you. I hope you're having a good weekend. Jalen, he's this, yeah, he's just this guy who's, so there's JS Urban Adventures is the name of the channel, and he does a show on Friday and Saturday where he basically just has a live chat open on his Discord, and I've joined it a few times. So I joined it last night, and there's this guy that comes in, and he's part of the community, but he's also like antagonistic as well. And just been hearing, I don't know much about his history or past, but it sounds like he's had some difficulties with like different people online, and it just is like a whole history. So I don't know, but he also is. I really appreciate though seeing the way Josh is with him. Not all the time. I think sometimes their relationship's a little antagonistic, but I like that he's just accepting of him. It's kind of sweet to see actually the way he's like trying to be a friend, and and then there was another man who came in who was trash talking. That was funny. But yeah, I did not feel like I could participate much. It's a lot of male energy, and I'm just like painting my nails and la-di-da. I don't know. Feeling very like, should I even be here? What is my purpose in being here? What am I seeking? Anyway, yeah. People get caught up, and I think he's, somebody who's caught up. He's very caught up in his, various identities. Like we all get sometimes, and yeah, Terri just sits there and looks pretty. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I mean, that's me. That's my life. Regardless of what I'm doing, I'm going to be sitting and looking pretty, unless I'm laying down. That's what it will be like when we make our big movie. Our big movie. How exciting. It did get funny. It did get pretty funny. Yeah, it was funny. But it gets so chaotic, too. Oh, Vasco. That's not real. They came out. I think you're talking about a movie. Now, in the movies, they don't come out. Although, who knows? I mean, remember the Blair Witch Project? I remember being so frightened by that as a kid and like thinking it was real. Like, oh my God, they were never found. This is just the footage they have. But I have heard of certain spirits like that will, kill people, especially in like certain areas. What are they called? Goblins, certain goblins. Some of them are known for, attacking people. But Vasconomi, how long till I realized that Blair Witch was a movie? I mean, I don't know. It's probably like probably a year later or something. It wasn't like something that I thought forever. I mean, I figured out pretty quickly that it was a movie. I don't remember exactly when, but it wasn't a belief I had for a long time. But like when I first went, I remember getting so scared by it too. It wasn't even that scary now that I think about it. But to be honest, I don't really like scary movies and films. I don't enjoy them. Like I prefer maybe like a thriller over a horror film. I like some classic horror films. I mean, what can I say? Like horror films, they can be great. I mean, I do like, there's just some that are so good, they stood the test of time, that they're worth viewing. But as a genre, like I don't get into it too much, and I don't ever feel like, I want to put on a horror film. That's not my bag. I kind of wanted to talk today. Actually, something that I wanted to talk to you all today about was celibacy, because it's come up. Some people that I follow online have been talking about this new Bumble like dating app ad, where they're like making it look as though it's ridiculous to be celibate. And I just, my kind of reaction to that was so strange. Like, I mean, I'm just unnerved by it, honestly. See if I can pull it up. Actually, let's see if I can find the. I don't know if you've all heard about this. Oh my goodness, why can't I use my computer? Here we go. Hmm. Wow, actually, yeah, I just Googled, and they have a ton of different like billboards that they put up, over the years, and I'm just kind of looking at them, and I'm grossed out by a lot of them now. Trying to find the celibacy one though, that one was so disturbing. Hmm. Okay, there's one here that says a vow of celibacy is not the answer. Okay, yeah, that's not. I'm trying to find this one. It was like, mm, maybe if I just Google celibate, see. No. You saw the ad. Yeah. Some are just so unnerving and try to unnerve Christians. Are you talking about that? Is it the one with the Madonna lookalike? No. Here, I'm going to share my screen. So, yeah, I just pulled up Google Images. Um, so, this one here is, full well, a vow of celibacy is not the answer. There's two with this. A vow of celibacy is not the answer. Here we go. A vow of celibacy is not the answer. Um, These are disturbing to me, like honestly, because yeah, and then here's this one: "Thou shalt not give up on dating and become a nun." Uh, I mean, there's so much wrong with this that I don't know where to begin. Is that the Madonna one? I don't know who's looking like Madonna here. She don't look like Madonna. Yeah, a lot of people are responding to this. They're like offended, obviously. So anyway, I mean, I'm not, stop sharing this. I'm not, I've never used this app. I do have a friend who used it, told me about it. She didn't have any luck on it, obviously, because dating apps aren't really. I mean, I did a video about them a couple of years ago. Now, what I think about it, online dating apps, I don't think it's a good idea, period. Um, and I've never been on a dating app actually, so I can't really even go there. But to me, it just seems very unnatural and very much like not the right way to meet someone. And to me, it also seems like shopping, and I just don't really want to meet someone through that kind of methodology. I don't think it's in any way right. But yeah, the celibacy thing. It's just interesting to see celibacy attacked. And then I'm also thinking, like, dating isn't even a time to be sleeping with someone. So it's just amazing to me how the culture has shifted so much that it would be considered odd to be celibate. When I think being celibate is natural, it's the natural state of being. Like, we don't just, it's so normal. Like, it's a very normal behavior. It's a very normal thing. It's like I don't even think about it, in my life. It's not like, oh, I have a vow of it. It's just it's normal behavior. And throughout my life it's been that way. It's like the normal behavior. Like you're not chasing after sexual encounters. And dating shouldn't even be about that either. We are in a mess. Our culture is in a mess. Bosco says we should have what China has with no intellectual property. I'm unfamiliar with Chinese intellectual property laws. I'm not going to even click on that. I don't know what you're saying. Oh dear, Bosco. I don't know what to do with you. I do not know what to do with him. So yeah, it's strange to me. Like, why are we in this position where I mean, I would think that as an app, you would want your users to be intelligent, safe, and wise about how they go about intimacy, you know. But I mean, then again, these apps they're just businesses, and they want people on them. They want people using them, and the I guess the thrill or the appeal of having easy access to sexual encounters is, a big part of the drive for these apps. But I think they're wicked. I'm just gonna say that, like, it's wicked. I don't know. There's something really wrong going on, and I don't understand it. Like, why is it so easy? It should not be this easy. And making it this easy makes it, so much less valuable. And there seems to be like just a large swath of the population that's so dejected and like just incapable of pair bonding because they've had too much S word, you know, with too many people. They've done it with too many people, and now they're just kind of jaded and corrupted by it. I mean, it will happen. It does happen. And yeah, this ad's just like, full well that a vow of celibacy isn't the answer. Like, maybe it is. Maybe it really is. What you've been doing hasn't been working. Maybe you should be celibate. Maybe you should choose to be celibate. Maybe you should take some time off the dating world so that you can figure out like what's going on with you. Why is like the right thing so like treated as if it's irrational, and why is it so unpopular even though it's so obviously correct? Matthew says, I think abstaining for a while may allow it again. You mean the pair bonding thing that I discussed? I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't think that like, when it becomes like a behavior, when it becomes like a habit, when it becomes habitual to hook up with people, I think that people become very jaded, I don't know. I can't say for certain. I don't know. I think maybe. And but I do think like a big part of the like red pill incel like female I don't know, how would I describe the female version of this? Because there's like a female version of this too, like femcel. I don't know. Like there's a side to this that's affecting men, obviously, where men are just like constantly online, disparaging women and like frustrated with women and angry at women. And there's a female equivalent to that as well. And how much of it is just, a byproduct of like a sick culture and completely abnormal behavior being presented and promoted as normal. And it's had this psychological effect on the people where they're like traumatized and jaded and like incapable of behaving rationally. I don't know. It's again, yeah, and it's back to the theme of being in the world, not of the world. Like this isn't, whether something is normal or not is kind of irrelevant. Because I'll use the term normal and then I'll be like, normal isn't even right, or people will be like, oh, it's normal to feel this way or that way, or it's normal to act this way or that way. But like, normal doesn't mean right. Normal doesn't mean good. Normal doesn't mean it's the right path, because the wrong way is normal. The wrong way is like, yeah, it's a subjective term. Oh, Chris is here. Hi, Chris. Chris is here with the salute. Good afternoon. Yeah. Matthew says that normal is highly subjective. It is. I mean, it really just depends on what the mean is, in your culture. What's everybody else doing? Doesn't mean anything else. Wishing I grabbed a glass of lemonade before I sat down here. But anyway, yeah, I don't know, that Bumble ad Bumble. And Bumble is supposed to be like a female kind of like friendlier version of these apps, I think. Whatever the heck that means. I guess only women are allowed to pick, but like, I mean, you're just not. The thing is with these apps, like for men and women, like you're not gonna get the quality people aren't on them. You know, the kind of people you want to date aren't on them. You know, they're only really for people who don't have any like thing going on or network or people they know in real life. Was it Hinge? I don't know. Hinge is another one. I don't even like, okay, Bumble, Hinge, Tinder. I know it was the other one. Maybe that's it. No, Grinder. I'm thinking Grinder. Oh my goodness. Well, we know what Grinder's for, but we'll just move on from there. We know what that's about. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I had a female friend using Bumble. That's why I thought that I thought that she had described that men aren't allowed to like you're the one that picks, I guess. But maybe I don't know. It could have been something else. Maybe she could have been on multiple ones too because she's been doing it for a while. I mean, um, she's off of that though. She's off of that now. Apparently has found someone, which is nice. But hmm. I hate dating apps, but I feel like there's really no other option to find dates as a lesbian outside of LGBT meetups. I mean, don't you just meet people naturally as you go about your life? you know? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. And aren't they demoralizing with all the men pretending to be women on them? Oh dear. Bosco, stop it. Hmm. Well, I mean, is it working out for you though? Like, in terms of dating anyway? Like, how long have you been doing these apps and are you meeting anyone? I mean, I think that's really the kind of, you know, the proof in the pudding. It's like, is it going to work? And it's like, well, are you finding anyone? How long have you been doing it? Like, are you meeting any quality people? You met your last ex on there. I mean, when I was dating women, um, I did I did do online dating briefly with OkCupid years ago. So like that's my only experience, and I have to say that the women I found on that were not any good. Like I can't imagine if I'd been looking for men how awful it would have been. But like Bosco, that's amazing. You drove your friend to meet his hookup. They just, excuse me, they just met, they just arranged a hookup online without having met before. Is that what you're saying? I've known some women who've done that too. I've met some women who've done that. Like they just start talking to a guy online and then arrange to have this stranger come over to their house and do it with them. Like who is raising these people? Like don't and as a woman, don't you know that you're like in danger doing that. Like, I'm just like, what? I hear these stories and I'm just like stunned. I don't know. Like, I don't even know how to respond. And then the maternal part of me comes out where I'm like, what the F are you doing? Like, da 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 da. Like, and they're just like, it's totally normal. They think it's totally normal to have some random stranger come over and do it with you. Like, it's so backward. I remember seeing I remember seeing a TikTok of a woman who was like putting this guy on blast because they had met, I guess they'd met on Instagram, which, people use social media to date and meet people as well. But they'd met on Instagram, and like he lived in another city, and he basically just like came to her, visit her. They'd never met in person before, mind you. He came to her house and like spent the night, and he like I assume that they slept together because why wouldn't they? But it was so interesting in the like TikTok because she was saying he was super sweet, there were no red flags, and the guy had like tattoos on his face, and he was young and he had veneers, and he had all these pictures of himself without a shirt on. I mean, that to me is a red flag. Why like there's no reason why a man should be showing off his body like a thoughty girl does. Like that to me is a huge red flag. It's like, are you a rent boy? Like, why are you doing that? You know, why is a man doing that? Like, it's so like weird. Like, so, and tats on the face. Hello. But anyway, yeah. So she ends up waking up and he had like stolen her Rolex and something else. So she didn't know what, but she saw him like putting something in his like bag and like leaving her house and like blocked her on everything. And so she decides, instead of like going to the police, to make a TikTok about it and put him on blast. But like, really, it just, to me, it was like so embarrassing for her. Like, wouldn't you be embarrassed if that was you? Wouldn't you like not want everyone to know that you were the kind of woman who invites random strange men with face tats into your house to sleep with you? Rent boy, not red, rent. A rent boy is a term for a male prostitute. Um, I used to say that to some of the girls I would date. I'd be at like, you don't even know me. Why would you ask me to pick you up at your friend's house? Oh, I don't know. It's weird. The culture is all screwed up. Like, why are you like so trusting in today's world? It's strange. And I saw another one where like this girl met some guy for like a date on one of these apps. I don't know which app, and decided to like, after the date was over, I guess they got coffee or something, and then like she was feeling him, so she decides, you know, he's bought me coffee or lunch or whatever, so why don't I invite him back to my home to have sex with me? And like, he ends up stealing like a pair of designer shoes from her. And get this, gifting the shoes to his actual girlfriend. So this guy had a girlfriend. This guy had a girlfriend, um, but he's still like uh, on these apps, hooking up. Okay, Kira heard about this one. This one was crazy. And like, so yeah, he gifts, and there are those really horrible shoes with the like cloven hoof in them. You know what I mean? Like they look like cow feet. These shoes, I can't remember the name of them. They're so hideous. I have a friend who has a pair of them, and I think they're the most hideous, disgusting shoes. Like, why on earth would you have these like cloven hoof boots, or like I think hers were Mary Jane style cloven hoof but shoes. Um, but yeah, he gives the shoes to his girlfriend, and then like uh, anyway, because this girl, instead of this girl goes online and starts putting it on blast that this hookup she had stole her designer shoes that her dad gave her or whatever. Like this, I mean, you're inviting. I like. What do you expect when you are behaving this way? What What are you expecting when you behave this way as a woman? Like, do you expect that a man who you just met, who you've let like get totally intimate with you, is going to respect you in any capacity? Like, why wouldn't you expect him to steal from you? Like, he has already stolen from you. Like, and you're too dumb to figure it out because you think that it's equality or liberating or something to like just hook up as if you were a man. And then I've been thinking about the show Sex and the City, because I've been seeing a lot of or getting a lot of content pushed towards me recently of like people analyzing it, and I've watched a few of the videos, and now like there's this whole bunch of them kind of coming up for me and like my recommended. But it is interesting to me because like when I first watched the show, I didn't watch it when it first came out. I watched it some years later. And by some years later, I mean like a couple years ago. I just remember being really irritated with the characters, like the female characters. They were relatable in some ways, but they were like really unrelatable in other ways. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the fact that I don't know if it's the fact that they were like so promiscuous that they were like so off-putting, but like, their behavior is so insane, and it's like trying to analyze it rationally and look at it. I'm like, I do see women behave these ways, especially like when women engage in this like hookup culture stuff. And hello to Dystopian Deep Dives who came in. It's nice to see you. And the band Double Shoes. And Kiera says that Carrie is the worst. Yeah, Carrie is terrible. The thing that irritates me about her character the most is just how she doesn't give the finger immediately. Like, she's so clearly like wounded and like desperate for validation, and like she just keeps letting this guy treat her like trash, just like totally no regard for herself at all. It's actually enraging. And then she, the way that she's jealous when he, brings back this younger woman who's like sophisticated and like actually his type, it's enraging to me. Like, I just can't, I remember just watching it and just like being so frustrated with her. And then Miranda is, you brought up Miranda to being the second worst. Can we talk about that relationship with Steve? Because I see a lot of people feel bad for Steve, and I'm like, no, I feel bad for Miranda, like completely, because Steve is just like such a hobosexual. Like, to be honest, he's such a hobosexual. He's such a like, he's a bartender. She's a lawyer. They hook up, and he just doesn't leave. He like moves into her house, and like the whole thing, like he really ruins her effing life. It's just like unbelievable. Like there's when I like look at it, because I yeah, at first I kind of felt sympathy for Steve, but then like, you know, looking at it again, I'm kind of like, oh man, like this guy was not ever. She never should have been dating him in the first place. She never should have been messing around with him. Dystopian Deep Dive says it's a weird show, a total fantasy. It's kind of sad. It's sad, kind of, isn't it? It is sad. She kept him, though, like a stray dog. Bosco says Miranda would be a homosexuality. Okay, and that's the worst. Okay, it was also like in the reboot, like, and just like that, her affair with Che, the non-binary comic, that is just so offensive. So offensive. Oh my God. Like, I don't understand. Like, they took this Miranda could have been such a great character, and they just churned her into such a sad little pick me. Like, really, such a sad little pick me. Steve who? Steve from Spooky Little Blue Eye. You know how I feel about them blue eyes. You know what them blue eyes do to me. Steve from Sex and the City. Yes, I've watched Girls. Don't get me started on Girls. I hate Girls. Like, yeah, that's like another version of it. Like they were such, like, they are not relatable. They are not relatable. It's been a while since I've watched the show, though. I can't name them all. I can't name off all the characters, but I did watch it. I watched it like probably 10 plus years ago. Yeah, it was about 10 years ago that I broke my arm. So when I broke my arm, I ended up like watching a bunch of trash TV just because I couldn't move out of bed for months because it was like such a intense injury. I had to just kind of lay with my like arm in a certain position for a really long time. So yeah, I liked her character too. Okay, so like I liked Charlotte. I felt like Charlotte was more relatable, as a character. She was more well rounded. She had like a life, kind of. Kim Cattrall's character, I loved her character. I thought she was hilarious, but honestly, she reminded me more of a drag queen than an actual woman. You know, like she was too over the top to be believable as a woman. But she was funny. She was a funny character. Like, and I guess, and she was just so outrageous that it was funny. I like that she, I don't know. She had some interesting character development. Like there was like her relationship with that rich guy, I think his name was, and I don't remember her younger boy toy name. But I do love that. I do like to see a nice older woman, younger man dynamic played out because well, people are so hateful and resentful towards that dynamic. They're always like, I was in a chat on another live the other day, and people were like ripping apart the relationship between like Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte, and I'm shipping them for life. Like I love them, love them. Lena Dunham has been the worst thing to happen since Dolly Parton's hair. Well, it's not her real hair. It's a wig. It's okay. Lena Dunham is a hot mess. Oh man, she's a mess. Like she's just yeah, that's the thing in the show. Like just her the way she just kind of like would get like be randomly undressed at weird times, and it was like I don't know. It made me uncomfortable. Like I don't like seeing. Yeah, that was the other thing with Samantha's character too. Like it just got gross sometimes with when she would just start having sex with someone, and you'd be like, wait, what? Like just jarring, just jarring. Yeah, Samantha was the only one that seemed happy. And she was the only one that seemed like she seemed like a free spirit, you know. And I hated that like Adam, what's his name? That actor, he became like Adam Driver, whatever. I hated his character in Girls. Like just the first scene I saw him in, he was being like a creepy pedophile. So I was just like, okay. Like I hated him. Like if that's the first scene I see you in is you're doing something like that, like I'm not going to enjoy anything. I'm not going to care about your relationship with this, character. Like I was so like enraged by that actually. Like I was enraged by that. It like really pissed me off. I was like, why did she like continue dating this guy? Like if some guy said that to me, like anything like that, like I know, Kira, like I know, like I can't not see it. Yeah, yeah. Yep, I don't know why either. And there was that other one, like the one that was like I think she was like she took Molly or something at or like ketamine at some event. I don't remember, like a party. And then there was the like really bougie one. I remember her hooking up with like a woman at her I don't know if she was at a like recovery thing, like a I don't remember if it was like a mental health thing or like a drug addiction thing place. But I remember she just like seduced this other woman. Marnie, maybe, I don't know. Again, these shows are weird and like they're like the culture does drive, the media does drive the culture in a lot of ways, is what I'm trying to say. The culture is often impacted by the media that's being produced. Jessa, that's it. Marnie must be the other one. I didn't like any of them. Like, I didn't relate to any of the girls. You know what I mean? I think with like Sex and the City, there were parts of Carrie I could identify with, parts of Charlotte, parts of Miranda. Not really. That's it. She was British. Yes, the British one. I think Mama Culture will swerve and crash. Okay. Marnie was the one that had it together, quote unquote. Had it together. Yeah, these shows are like really. I think they do affect us. If we see this kind of behavior, you know, being presented as if it's normal, like we're more likely to keep it normal. I mean, I think too, the proliferation of like pornography, the easy access to it has had a really negative impact on the sex culture as well. Because if that's free and cheaply available and everywhere, like why wouldn't, you know, sex be as well? I mean, it has gotten too cheap and too easy to access, and it's really something that shouldn't be that easy to access. Why do I think they're presenting this to us? It's a good question. I mean, I think it's for multiple reasons. I think for one, um, I think it's part of like devaluing us. So if women and access to sex is really, if it's like if women are really easily accessible, like they become less valuable. So that's a part of it. I think another part of it is that um, it's in some ways they're just wanting to like push the envelope, and some of it is just like, this hasn't been done before. Let's see what we can get away with. Let's try to like make things, let's try and be the first to do this, that, and third, show this or that on TV or in these programs or shows. Some of it's just like competitive that way, like wanting to be the first to go there or to like break a taboo, to like do that kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's also, I think it's to demoralize. It demoralizes us. It helps, keep us demoralized, frustrated, angry if we're going about things in the wrong order, because the right order is obviously to, preserve sex for like very exclusive relationship, right? That's the correct order. You don't just give it or hop in and like do it with anyone. So if we're doing things in the wrong order, then like we're going to become demoralized about relationships, love, family. I think part of it has just been, to I think some of it's just the devil's handiwork, like why are they doing this? Why are they presenting it to us? I mean, because they're the children of Satan. They're the children of the devil, and they're keeping their hands busy, like fermenting chaos and disorder. I mean, and trying to make humanity miserable, because we are made in the image of God and we are, God's children. So if we're demoralized and we forget that and we don't respect ourselves or one another, we're going to be a lot easier to control. We're going to be a lot easier to, also become vessels of corruption ourselves. If we're demoralized, miserable, unhappy, emotional, unsatisfied, that gives the devil an in. I mean, I don't know. It's so funny to me because, like, for so long, I didn't believe in like the idea of the devil, right? The idea of it was like such a silly concept to me. I was like, I can believe in God. That's easy, but a devil, like, really? And now that I kind of like have stepped back and accepted that there's spiritual warfare, that there's good and evil. I do see it. I do see like the devil's handiwork and things, in the world. Um, People become puppets of evil. And I don't think, most of the time people are unaware of it. That's the thing about it too. The children of Satan are not even aware that that's what they're doing. That's what they're up to, because they're not even conscious that that's what they're listening to. That's what's leading them, giving them these ideas in the first place. Hi, Keith Carlock's Portals and Magic Ghost Number Cubes. How you doing? Been a while. Welcome to the show. Lena Dunham only got a start because of connections her parents had, if memory served. I mean, yeah, she's a Nepo baby. She's a mess. She's a damn mess. And she also like it's not she's a big exhibitionist too. That's the one thing I don't like about her. Like she's an exhibitionist. She posts constantly like on her own social media, like her body, like all the time, just wants to shove it in her face. It's so irritating. Oh, sorry, Icarus Fallen is here. I want to say hi. Hope you are well. I'm doing all right. I started the stream with, excuse me, talking about my lovely weekend and what I got up to and that kind of thing. So, doing all right. Got some sun. You can see there's sun out right now. It's nice. It's you know easier to be cheerful when there's sun about. I think I'm right about the devil. Nice, nice. It's good to be. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to invoke any satanic panic because, like, the thing is, it's not like even the Satanists that are behind this. Okay, like most of the people who are children of the devil don't know what they're doing. They're unconscious. They don't know what's good because like they think it's them. And that's how the devil gets in, you know. It's that little voice in the back of our head, you know, that's telling you to do wrong. That's you know, that's reasoning with you, that's giving you these ideas, that's like, oh yeah, push this envelope, push this button, like do this, do that, like is it really wrong? You know, and then you start to like you know, try to get you rationalizing, you know, and that's where it gets in. And people identify with the voices in their head. They don't realize that it's not them. I'm doing all right. People thinking I'm all right. People are stuck in their scrying mirrors. I guess, yeah, I'm not alone in that. Oh, I forgot about that. The sister transed out. Are you serious? Oh my god. I remember her sister being a lesbian. I can't believe she transed out. Like, God, what is going on? I'm sorry, like, I just need a moment. That's upsetting. What's good, Terri Strange? Hey, Matthew. Good to see you again. um, no, I didn't see that. The Ireland's candidate for that Eurovision Song Contest. All right, let's pull it up. Yeah, I forgot about that with Lena Dunham. Awful. Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm going to share it. Y'all ready for this? I haven't watched it. Oh, man. Oh, it's a non binary Eurovision act wears trans pride outfit. Looks like a girl to me, but okay. And we're on Pink News. Nope, no, we're not giving Pink News the ability to store on my device. Nope. Bambi Thug. God, what a mess. I mean, okay. Oh, wow. Look at this outfit. All right. So Switzerland won Eurovision. What is on her head? She's got little horns. She's got those stupid fake lashes. Oh God, what a mess. Should I play the video? Yeah, let's play the video. Let's see what she sounds like. Oh God. Okay, I can't. What a tool. What a tool. Okay. Oh my God. Looks like a Therian. Oh my God. Yeah, she kind of does, doesn't she? Oh man, what a mess. Thanks for letting me know, guys. Generic trans guy name takes tea and all that jazz. It's so embarrassing. God. These tattoos are ridiculous. She lights a pentagram on stage and says, at the end, says, crown the witch. It's just screaming, by the way. What? Like, this is what Ireland is. So what's going on with Ireland? What's wrong with the Irish? What's going on with the Irish? Like, can we be like something's going on in Ireland like bad lately? Like they're having all kinds of problems, and then this is their Eurovision candidate. Like, good God. Let me, just say like, what's going on? I'm Irish. I'm part of the Irish diaspora. This is we're not all like this. That's not what we're like. She says they're fey. Don't know. The Fae would never. The Fae are like cringing. They're like, we're not claiming her. She's messed up. Like, I mean, and it's obvious woman too. That's the thing. She's a feminine woman. It's so irritating with these like feminine women who are like, I'm non-binary. Like, okay, I guess we all are, honey. Like, what makes you non-binary? Like, what is it? What makes you so non-binary that the rest of us normies are just not capable of understanding or accessing ourselves? Like, what makes you so non-binary? There's so many of them too. I know, God. I just honestly, you know what I think it is? It's a way to get attention and be different and have power over other people by making them like, if I can make people like bow to my authority by like calling me they or them when I'm obviously like very feminine, like they get like a rush from it. It's the devil in them. It's the devil in them. It's all that. It's like attention, fake power, fake. Yeah, it means nothing generally, but yeah, it's just like you're a girly girl. You're like wearing so much makeup and like accessories. You're like, what are you doing? Matthew says it's all for attention and power. It's all for attention. Exactly. What's going on? What's wrong with the Irish? Maybe I need to like let it go. Irish is just another worldly identity, at the end of the day. It's where my ancestors, mostly came from, but it's not who I am. It's not. Mm, that's true, isn't it? Yeah, well, we've given her enough attention. She's gotten her 15 minutes here, or like 5 minutes at the Terri Strange channel. I'm not interested. I find her repugnant. Um, Also wearing a bikini. Just, what a dork. Black makeup, like edgy. I don't know what to say. Like, Bambi thug. Like, whatever. Whatever. Like I've worn black makeup too, okay? It's not. Just dropped my little exercise device I was using. Um, it's like Hot Topic barfed on her LMAO. I know it's so basic. It's such a basic thing too. Like I don't know. It's so funny because it's just like trying to be all edgy and dark, and it's like kind of basic actually. Like it's not that interesting. I mean, I've never. I don't feel like I've ever really left it. It's not something that leaves you, is it? But at the end of the day, it's another worldly identity, right? Gothiness. It's interesting to me too when, like, it comes up because it does come up from time to time, like my identification or like interest in that subculture or music and that kind of thing. And it's just amazing to me how many people are still ignorant about it. Like they don't know anything about it. Like, yeah, someone I was seeing again. I mean, I think I talked about it here, but yeah, he was like talking about me as being like, yeah, she's conservative and traditional, but she's also like gothic. And I was like, why do you think those things are like, or like he portrayed it like it was as if they were at odds or something, or like they were not congruent. And I was like, well, these things go together. It's classicism, like romanticism, like it has its roots in like romanticism, the nature, the call to elegance, refinement, the Victorian kind of aesthetic as well. Like there's all these elements of like tradition that go into the Gothic thing. So it's just kind of like people are so ignorant; they don't know. You know, she's a far cry from Sissy. Oh God, should watch that movie Merlin. I'm not familiar with the movie Merlin. I mean, maybe I've seen it. I love Merlin. I love Merlin, like the wizard. I love just depictions of him, like this. Even the series Merlin, that was so cute. Young Merlin, and they had like that was just a very interesting depiction of the story of like King Arthur and Merlin. It didn't really, I don't know, it was different than, how I imagined it, but I did like that. I thought that boy playing Merlin was a cutie. Um, yes, I do too. Sam Neill and Martin Short was in it. Okay, okay. Sounds familiar. I love Sam Neill. He's fine. He's a handsome man. Um, he's from like New Zealand, right? He's a Kiwi, right? Originally, we'll forgive him that. He's good looking. Um, yeah. What am I trying to think of? Like Merlin, the Once and Future King. Um, I love that book. It T.S. Eliot that wrote the Once and Future King. That had me fall in love with Merlin. I mean, that was just such a fabulous telling of the story, and I love all the mythology of Merlin, and also King Arthur. The story of King Arthur is such a incredible story. So yeah, what is Tubi? I'm not familiar with Tubi. People keep talking about Tubi. Dystopian Deep Dives is confirming that Samuel is a Kiwi. Okay, I know my people. I saw this really good film that he was in with Judy Davis from like the 80s that took place in Australia. It was like a period drama because Judy Davis is my favorite actress. I love her. She's so incredible. I always wanted, if I thought if anybody would play me in a film, like only Judy Davis could like do it. She'd be the only one who I felt like could really capture me. Although she's much older than me, but like just her intensity and like her also like control and just like classic beauty. Like I don't know, she's just something. But she did a Judy Garland film. Judy Davis did, and she actually played young Judy. Like they did her up to make her look younger. It's interesting seeing her try to like portray a young Judy Garland. It was good. Oh yeah, the Disney Sword in the Stone is one of the best. T.H. White, was it T.H. White? Let's look it up. Who wrote The Once and Future King? We're gonna find out today. T.H. White, you are correct. Yeah, okay, T.H. White, thank you. A period drama is a film that takes place in like a historic like period. So if it takes place like in the past at some point, so like a film that takes place in the 50s would be a period drama, or takes place like 200 years ago, or like in the Victorian era, or like, medieval era. Those are period dramas. The New Age. Sounds familiar. I'm not as big on Gandalf. Like I never had like the thing about Gandalf. Merlin is much more. I mean, Gandalf is like a Merlin kind of figure. What is it called? Wait, let me look this up. The New Age. Let's see if I've seen this. Oh God, she looks beautiful. No, I haven't seen this. Oh wow. Stars Peter Weller and Judy Davis. Peter and Catherine Whitner are Southern California super yuppies with great jobs, but no center to their lives. When they both lose their jobs and begin marital infidelities, their solution is to start their own business together. In order to find meaning to their empty lives, they follow various New Age gurus and other such groups. Eventually, they hit rock bottom and have to make some hard decisions. Adam West is in it? Oh my God. That's amazing. Adam West is in it. Oh my God. Batman. Oh, yeah, I want to see this. Samuel L. Jackson's in it. Okay, okay. Rachel Rosenthal. I haven't seen her in anything in a long time. Wow. Okay, cool. Oh my God. It sounds very weird. It sounds good. Yeah, it is kind of like based on that. I mean, yeah. I love the idea that King Arthur will come back. It's also kind of like has that. I mean, I haven't read it myself. It was read to me as a kid. It was read to me as a kid. The Lady in the Lake, yes. The Lady in the Lake. All of it is just such interesting. Yeah, it has Jesus vibes. Yeah, King Arthur has Jesus vibes. Like he's gonna come back. When we need him to. It's interesting. But yeah, Lord of the Rings. Those were like my bedtime stories. Daddy loved the Lord of the Rings. I had to. My favorite was the Two Towers. That book I think was my favorite of the series. Um, and then the Silmarillion was my dad's like favorite book, which kind of deals in that like world. Um, have that 70s set in the box. Oh, nice, 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 nice. Judy Davis looks beautiful in this though. I love her hair. She was like so smoking in the early 90s. But yeah, this looks like a very weird, funny film. Yeah, I just love her though. She got some wrinkles, but they could probably pull them back a little bit and have her play me if we needed her to. Yeah, God, I miss the '90s. You silly. Okay, good night, Kiera. Thanks for being here, chatting smack about the Sex in the City and girls. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's move on. This has been an interesting conversation. We've gone in some different turns. Matthew says it sounds like schmornography. Oh my god. At least it doesn't sound like it's about the schmack scene. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's sweet. You still have it? Yeah. No cover. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, interesting stories growing up to hear. But yeah, I never really, like, as an adult, read them again on my own. I don't know. I kind of like Mordor equals industry. I see. I see. I see. Is that true? Yeah, maybe a bit. Mordor. Oh my goodness. I don't know. It's yeah, that's less interesting to me. I don't know. Moved on from fantasy. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know much about like the backstory or, that kind of thing. I'm familiar with the stories. Oh, excuse me. Kiara's getting ready for bed. Maybe I should. Maybe I should make it an early night. Get in bed before my bedtime. Those are always special nights. Get a good start on the week. I mean, I'm still gonna keep going a little bit longer though, because it's still pretty early. All right, that's interesting. Can you explain to me what is it about Lord of the Rings that has inspired you to, um, or has turned you this way? I guess is what I'm saying. Is what I'm trying to say. I want to talk about hoflation because, like, Missing Mod did that stream the other day about hoflation, but when I came in, it was just kind of people telling like stories about crazy women, which I guess is part of hoflation, like, and kind of, part of I think, what got me kind of like woken up from feminism is just like realizing how bad a lot of women are, and a lot of women don't have any kind of accountability for why they're as bad as they are. They just do whatever they can get away with and they just constantly push those boundaries. Wait, why did I get started on that? Hoflation. Hoflation. Matthew says amen. Matthew's like, come on, tell me about how bad women are. Come on. I mean, like I don't want to pick on women. There's enough people online picking on women as it is, and like, there's another side to that as well because, like, people only do what we allow them to, as well. You know. And I think if we realize that as a like as humanity, if we kind of like collectively began to come to awareness that like we're responsible individually, and even if somebody is like crazy in front of us, like we don't have to be crazy too. Yeah, they do. I was thinking about that recently. Just like I think I was remembering like being angry. I remember I was like angry at a woman. I won't name her, but she's kind of like big because she had some beef with another woman. and I like got offended on this woman's behalf, even though I didn't know this woman at all. And like she was just an anonymous troll anyway. And like honestly, like I mean, I don't think what she said to this woman was appropriate at all, but I was like, I got mad and I like went to bat for her and I got all like up in my feelings about it, like getting all like, indignant about it. And I was like, I just had this like memory come back and I was like, why was I behaving that way? Like, that's sick. It's really deranged. Like, that I let myself emotionally get led astray like that, all on behalf of someone I don't know over like some internet beef. And I was like, take this woman down. Like, she's horrible. Like, how can she speak? Like, has anybody else, like, I was just like, yeah, she says, I think all of us in that scene didn't behave very well. Yeah, I mean, well behaved women rarely make history, right? Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah. They push all of that. Like, they love pushing that, pushing anger, pushing misbehaving, pushing, like, like as if it's empowering to women in the slightest. It's empowering to women? Sitting the F down and like thinking things through and not reacting. That's empowering. Not being led by your emotions is empowering. you know Taking a chill pill is empowering. Not being angry all the time is very empowering. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I know they had like a really interesting. They had a really interesting friendship. Um, I remember watching a documentary, kind of like contrasting their lives, and it was really fascinating. And also learning about C.S. Lewis's personal life was interesting. Like he got married like later in life, and it seemed like it was so romantic. Like learning the story, I was like, just pulled up into it, like enraptured. I was like, oh, I'm up in my feelings and making a mess. That's my fault. Yeah, breaking up and making up. Yeah, that's weird. I don't like that stuff. I'm like, if we're broken up, we're broken up. I don't want to get back together. Like, I don't break up with someone unless I want to break up with them. You know what I mean? Like, that is some, like, and women do that stuff. It's crazy. Like, I experienced that, like, just again in my time served in the lesbian, community. I was so like, I experienced it multiple times with women who would like pick a fight, want to like break up, get, and I'm like, okay, because I'm like, I'm already like, this bitch is crazy. Pardon my language, but I'd be like, this woman's crazy, and she's making my life hell. I need to get away from her. Um, and I'd be like, okay, we're breaking up. And then they'd be like, no, you don't love me. No, 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 no. No. Like, just then all of the craziness would come out. And it's just like, so like, why are you breaking up with me if you don't want to break up with me? Like, I would be relieved. I'd be like, oh, thank God we're breaking up. Like, she's unhappy too. And then it would be like, psych. And I'd be like, why can't I get out of this? Why can't I get away from this woman? Why won't she just leave? And yeah, the whole thing is a mess. It's so ghetto. Like looking back at it now, like I'm embarrassed. Like I'm honestly embarrassed. Like how did I even get sucked into all of that? Like it's just so ghetto and lame. Yeah, I feel. Yeah, I'm not. I don't. I mean, there's some exes I will talk to. There are some. I don't think it's a good thing to burn bridges, period. And I think you should have some level of like love and respect for the people that you've dated. But I mean, sometimes you can't deal with people, and if they're like crazy and if they're like, they have no accountability and, or if they're dishonest in some way, like, if I can't trust somebody, I'm not going to keep them around. I'm not going to communicate with them, like, period. Like, that's just it. But, I haven't dealt with that in a long time. Things have gotten a lot better. I've improved and my dating circle has improved exponentially as well. You know, um, and all I can hope for is that, like, anybody I've been with, who maybe I, didn't, or didn't want to keep communications open with, like, you just hope that they do better, like that's my hope, I wish everyone well, even if I'm like, not wanting to be in contact with them. I still wish everyone well. Oh, there's my baby. Look at my baby. Hey, baby. Look at you. You want to get up here? Get on here. Hey, Bubba G. Hey, baby. You're so handsome. Look at you. Wow, that's a handsome. You got me handsome up to a point, but you are ridiculous. Look how handsome he is. That's right. You good looking? Yeah. Okay. Matthew thinks it's pretty hot for a little while, the breaking up and making up, but it's got an expiration date. I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe in that. Like, if we're talking about breaking up, I'm going to break up. That's me. Like, it's just, I don't know. And I had one ex who continually like said I was like a man because of that. Because I would just be like, not reacting to her craziness. Like, you're just like a man. And I'd be like, which was also insulting. It's just so insulting, I should be discussing this with a therapist, probably not like my YouTube audience. Yeah, I just remember being like, you're just like a man. No. Like, okay. And mind you, like, I don't even want to get into that. Anyway, I'm still in contact with that one. I mean, not like regularly, but we're on good terms. Me and that one are on good terms, Yeah, if they're good people, I mean, you shouldn't cut people off completely. And I do think, like, if they're part of your network in some way, which they should be, you shouldn't be dating people that aren't in your network. Like, really, you should keep amicable relationships. You're right. It's empowering to come out of it. Yes, it is. When you're young, you do stupid stuff. Yeah, I guess. We're here to listen. We are your therapist. LOL. How did that make you feel? Are you referring to being called like a man? I'm just going to assume that's what you're referring to, unless you let me know it's something else. It made me feel like I wasn't seen or loved or heard. It made me feel like, I felt like she saw me as a man anyway. I felt like she treated me like I was a man. I don't feel like she ever treated me like I was a woman. And I felt like, she treated me like, she treated me like you would treat a man that you were using or something like that. Like, I didn't feel any like love. It was just all this like emotionality and like grandstanding. It was never anything loving about any of it. It was just like, it made me feel like, I wanted to be like, I don't know. I wanted to be like emotional. I felt like with her, I could never be vulnerable. I could never be a woman, It was so interesting, two women together. And, they portray it as like, this is the thing, like lesbians portray it like their relationships are so much, more passionate, so much more like romantic, and like the sexual element's amazing. And it's just, they act as though like they're so much, just so their relationships are so much better, and this isn't all, but like definitely the women that I was around and knew at the time, the way they portrayed it and talked about it was like, this is the best love you're going to get. No one can love you like a woman can love you. And like, I was hungry for like a woman's love just because of, being deprived of my mother. I think, I wanted to feel a woman's love, but I just never got that. I always felt like there was no love. No, I wanted to be the woman. I mean, I was a woman. There's no way to not be a woman when you're a woman. I was a woman, but I felt like I was never seen as a woman. I just felt like she didn't see me or love me or care about me at all. You know, I felt like she hated men and she saw me as a man and she just hated me, because of it. And then she ends up transing out. It's just so interesting to me that you could like hate men that much and then like end up trying to be one. Like it was a way to hurt me. It was just a way to hurt me. Yeah, it was just a way to hurt me. I don't know. When I think about it, it was just a way to upset me, a way to try to dig at me. Because again, like I said, she would always be trying to push my emotional buttons, trying to get me to react emotionally. And she was so out of control that I never felt safe being emotional because I'd be like, she would just be so chaotic. And I just have to like go into like my ultra stoic, like, don't react. Because it just reminded me of my childhood, like, honestly, you know, dealing with like my chaotic father and then like his girlfriends that he had from time to time. It was just a perfect mirror of all those relationships. It's interesting because like I heard Jesse when Jesse Lee Peterson did his like when he went on Roseanne's like podcast and they talked, I loved their talk. It was so good because he talked about how, when we're in the fallen state, we're attracted to what we hate, and I totally see that with myself. Like like the relationships I was in, they totally mirrored my effed up childhood, and the dysfunctional patterns that my parents were in, and that my dad was in specifically. Because, like I said, I didn't have my mom, and I just, um, like, but I was attracted to, like, I didn't want my relationships to be anything like that. I hated it. I hated it growing up. I hated it. I was like, growing up, I was like, I'm never going to be like this. And then, like, to be an adult and to be like going through the same kind of things that my dad went through in his relationships. And, and also like, it was just like very humbling for one. And I just felt like kind of like, why am I repeating this generational pattern for one? And then, kind of hearing it put in that I've done a lot of work on myself, I've come out of a lot of things, but hearing him talk with Roseanne about it and like talk about her messed up relationships, because she had some messed up relationships, like her marriage with Tom Arnold and like others, he was a really weak man and she was like attracted to weak men because her father was weak, And so I just kind of like, he was like, yeah, when we're in the fallen state, we become attracted to what we hate, and it isn't until we like overcome, we go and forgive and like really truly forgive that we're given a new spirit. And now I'm like, ultimately, like I look at, the people that I dated, and that those times, and I'm just like, I'm so not attracted to that anymore. It's like beyond comprehension. Like it's actually like repugnant to me. And what I am attracted to is so different. It's like night and day almost. I'm like kind of shocked. I find it very interesting to hear the negative things that happened or that occurred during those relationships that contrast to your perspective now with the hindsight unique to here in our current culture. I know because like our current culture is so celebratory of like, the queer relationships and like, and this is the kind of thing too where I kind of like I had so much like hatred towards myself in that time because like my I will be on like my attraction to women was genuine. Like I genuinely was attracted to women and I still deal with same-sex attraction at times. Like it hasn't gone away completely. I don't think it does. I mean, I can for certain people. I don't know, but like I know for me, it's just like I'll notice women sometimes. I mean, women are beautiful. Like women are wonderful. Like there's something about them. Like like I understand. I understand that. Like, but for me, I've kind of understood that that's not the right way to love a woman. Is to not love her in that like lustful way. It's not the right way. It's not a way that honors her in any way or respect. And I can't give a woman the kind of love she actually needs. I mean, I can love her as a friend and give her the best love that I'm capable of. But yeah, I do have a lot of kind of interesting perspective from that because like, we're taught, or at least I felt like there was always a lot of animosity, towards me, like, or there wasn't always in all of my relationships, but, the fact that I believed that lesbianism was a choice was a big point of contention and in my relationships. And that was political for me, but, I also still believe it today and, probably always will, like, just because, again, a worldly identity. It's a worldly identity at the end of the day. Like, it's something you do. It's not what you are. It's something you're doing. But anyway, yeah, I kind of like, that was a big problem, and a point of like a way that was used to, I think, to like create barriers to intimacy. It was a way that like walls would be thrown up to like not accept me or like, and then I was, yeah, I think the fact that I was doing it for political reasons, like, I don't think a lot of women are just honest about the reasons that they're doing it. They're unconscious anyway. So I can't, you can't get through to people that are unconscious anyway. They have to learn for themselves. But, this is just what I've seen and observed for myself, and then kind of coming out, of that and realizing that I wasn't like that, now, a lot of people will call me like bisexual or they'll be like, and I guess like if we're in terms of like behavior through my life, that's been the case, but there's like this superiority, I think, as well that some women have about it. But like, honestly, like the relationships I was in they were so, I just don't I don't let anybody feel like superior to me. I mean, they can feel superior if they like. And I think that is a case sometimes with a lot of lesbians. Like they do have this kind of superiority complex, and they're not superior at the end of the day to anybody else. They're just human beings. They're just souls in the world trying to like figure it out like anybody else. But they have this kind of chip on their shoulder that comes off as a like superiority complex. So that I was dealing with that as well. There would be like ranking of who's the bigger, like who's more of a lesbian than who, like, who's more valid than who. It all makes me sick now when I think about it, like, because it was so destructive and not loving at all. Like, and I just wanted to love, you know, I just wanted to give love, and it never worked out that it could be a good place to give love. And now I'm kind of like, of the awareness that, like, it's not this kind of relationship is not going to be a vessel for me to give love. It just isn't. Anyway, I've gone on long enough about that. Thanks to Sophie and Deep Dives. You can't think about their superiority complex is not your mess. No, but it is they try to make it my mess, Like, they'll make little comments here and there, You get like, you get a comment, or you're like an ex-lesbian, or you're like a bisexual or something, you're like less than them. And they won't put it that way. They'll put it like you're oppressing them. And you're not. But people feel oppressed. They want to feel oppressed. They want to act like they're oppressed. Like, all right, well, if it's not bisexuals or straight women or ex lesbians that are oppressing you, it's like women who have kids. It's like, women who were ex-het, like all of that stuff. It's just like, it's never ending, the ways in which people make each other miserable in their fallen state. Like all of the tools and weapons they have to, like, seek to be vengeful and hateful towards others and put their mess on other people. Perhaps I'm wrong, but my impression is that Terri, being a creative artistic type, appreciating beauty must be extra complex to separate out. Maybe. I do put a lot of value in it, I do value it a lot. I value it. And I don't think a lot of people value beauty, or they think it's like superficial, and I don't see it as superficial. I see it as extremely important. I see it as extremely important, extremely like valuable, Matthew, I'm referring to what people say. I'm not referring to what I perceive people thinking. I'm referring to what people say. I'm referring to what people say. Do I value the thoughts in others about? Do I value the thoughts of others about myself? I guess it depends on who those others are. It depends. It depends on their proximity to me, I think, like how close they are to me, how much, they've invested in me. If somebody has like invested a lot of time and care and like just love and friendship in me, I'm going to care about their opinions, And at the end of the day, it won't change who I am, obviously, but it will affect me to a certain degree. Or it may be something that I like observe, and I don't know that it even affects me, but it's something that I spend more time observing and thinking about. What an interesting comment. Bosco's going off in the comment section. Men should not value beauty, because if a man has valor, then he will rule beauty. Okay. You don't have to value beauty. I'll value it. I'll value it. I mean, if you're not the custodian of beauty, it's not your business, I suppose. To me, it's something that to me, it's something that we're either given custody of or not, and if we're given custody of it, then it becomes something that we need to preserve or take care of or invest in. And then he says, "I heard that janitor's beauty custodian is not the same thing as a janitor, although it can be the same title. Like, I think you're well aware of what I meant by custodian. If you end up with if you end up with a piece of artwork or like a rare precious piece of jewelry or something like that, it's something that you've been given that you are entrusted with taking care of and preserving. And I think the same thing with like ourselves as women. And beauty isn't also it isn't just physical as well. Like people can have very beautiful countenances. They can just ways they carry themselves, like smiles or it's just with women too, especially it's subtle sometimes. Like a woman may not be like very attractive conventionally, but she'll do something and then you just like see the beauty just radiate off of her. And it's like it's a force, it's a power. I don't know. It's beauty is like feared. Beauty is feared and it's hated a lot of the time. And I think it's because it's one of those wild elemental forces that we don't have much control over of as well. It's like it captures us, it fascinates us, and it drives us out of our minds. It has the power to anyway, and it's a power that we fear because we know how dangerous it is. Which is why like beautiful women are often like hated, despised, torn down. It's like you know it's a power that I think women wield in the world that isn't. Yeah, I think it's because beauty confers power because it has this like force. People fear it, when women have it. It's doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right. It makes people uncomfortable. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's something that I've observed. You preserve it by not being evil. That does help. I have to say, since I started like walking the narrow path, my glow up has been unreal. My glow up has been incredible since I started walking that narrow path. Like, and it's amazing to me. Like the devil like seeks to destroy beauty. It's an interesting thing as well. But God makes us like just beautiful, and the devil gets in us and just is like making us take what he's made perfect and beautiful and just destroy it. It's so weird. And like, yeah, now I look at myself, I'm like, wow, my glow up directly coincides to like rediscovering like my relationship with the living God. How interesting. How interesting that that should happen. What other people think of you is none of your business. However, what everyone thinks of you, perhaps you should pay attention to. I don't know. Have you ever had a mob after you? Because I've had a mob after me before, and it's like when that happens, it's like, you know, it can be disorienting because you could be right, but like there's nothing you can really do. You just kind of have to write it out. I think ultimately, like, we just need to worry about being right in our souls. You know, we need to be right in our soul, not worry so much about anything else. You know, other people, they can only tell us so much. They can only show us so much. Like, how do we feel ultimately? What do we know to be true? Like, what sits right in our soul? Like, what has us, you know, at peace? Because God brings peace. That's what I found. Like, when I'm doing what's right, I'm at peace, and when I'm not, I am not at peace. I am unwell. I feel the conflict. You know. Well, this has been an amazing stream, y'all, but I'm going to head out. I think it's 7 o'clock here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. I'm going to start to slowly retire, slowly, you know, bring myself uh, into a cozier state, I suppose. But it's been a lovely chat, and I think I like the way it went tonight. And I appreciate all of you being here, chatting with me, and helping the conversation go in different directions. It's been nice. That's an interesting insight, isn't it? Modernity creates nothing but ugliness. This is why these eco wounds attack great works of art. They deface beauty and replace it with ugliness. I mean, not untrue. I mean, there's something to that, isn't there? I hadn't really connected it that it's kind of the same thing, you know? And you see all these like young women like destroying their appearance, like doing the utmost to make themselves as ugly as possible. Like it's like they're possessed. What are you doing? Like like they're possessed. You know, they're doing everything they can to like just destroy what's been made perfect. But anyway, good chat. Thank you. I hope you all are well, and I'll see you another time. Okay. Much love to the chat. Peace out, y'all.